about animation. Now, this particular one I'm going to show you here is part of our marketing for Origo. And this thing was designed just to show people how interesting and fun and kind of quirky this Origo program is. And we used a product called VideoScribe. Again, very reasonable. Now, I do have a graphic artist who works in my section, so I did have access to an artist who drew some of these, some of the illustrations here, but not all of them. But you can take advantage of people maybe in your own organization that are graphic artists and can do some of this stuff. But VideoScribe has all kinds of things that you can use that you don't need to be an artist. There are some others that are out there as well. But let me show you this short little video. This one has won 2 international awards, and it was done completely in-house. I produced and wrote it, and Kevin Beckstrom, my graphic artist, did the animation, and the budget analyst who sits outside of my office, April Carpenter, did the voice. So totally homegrown. Sorry, I went to the wrong slide.
Oregon, it's one of a kind. Our high desert, majestic mountains, green forests, fertile valleys, vibrant cities, and scenic coasts make Oregon a great place to live, work, and play. Connecting all this beauty, all the stores, sites, and homes, is a network of roads and bridges. Getting you where you want to go and getting the stuff you want to buy to your store takes a lot of care and maintenance. And it costs a lot of money. For a long time now, we pay for our roads whenever we fill up at the pump. It's called the gas tax. But as cars and trucks get better gas mileage, they use less gas and pay less money for road and bridge maintenance. And now, some cars don't use any gas at all. What to do? Introducing Origo, a new way to take care of our transportation system. With Origo, you put a simple device in your car and drive. Instead of paying per gallon at the pump, you pay 1.5 cents for every mile you drive. It's affordable. Even a Prius owner who drives 80 miles in a day only pays about 50 cents more for Origo. And if you drive a less efficient vehicle, you might even save some money with Origo. It's cool. Our partners offer some neat features like logging your trips and even letting you compete with other Origo pioneers to see who the more efficient driver is. It's a way we can all give back to help make sure our roads are repaired, ready to take us on our next adventure. Try out Origo. You'll find us at myorigo.org. Origo. Better roads, happy drivers.
Yeah, we were just bowled over that won so much recognition, because you can see, I mean, it's just a simple little video we threw together in our communication section. But you can use animation. It's a way to go beyond what people expect. And I think that's one of the key elements of a visual engagement strategy. Do things that people don't expect you to do. I'm going to move a little bit faster here for, we only have about 10 minutes left. But again, I would encourage you to go get this presentation, because I've got lots of links and things in there. If you are new to shooting video, there's some great YouTube tutorials that will show you how to shoot video. And I would just encourage you to practice. I'm working with one of my PIOs who was a newspaper reporter for a long time and wanted to learn how to shoot video. So we just went out and we just shoot things. I tell him how I'm doing this and that, and we work on editing. So you can do lots of practicing. You can find colleagues that like to shoot. Just remember things like variety. Variety is the spice of video. Think about the questions. If you're doing an interview style, you need to have everything from beginning to end, because there's not going to be any narrator in the story. I would encourage you, as you shoot, use a tripod. It's actually what sets apart professional video from maybe not. Now, I say that with a caveat, and that is there are actual styles of handheld, but you kind of have to know what you're doing. Watch your lighting. Don't shoot in the noonday sun with the sun coming right down on your interview subject. Maybe use a reflector. We have a reflector in our Video Go kit. You can follow movement. You can use movement to help you get in and out of shots, and listen for natural sound, little pops that you can put in that increase the engagement of the viewer. Then in terms of production, part of our Go Kit, the most expensive item, is a MacBook Pro and Final Cut Pro, which are kind of really the state of the art in terms of video production. A little bit of a learning curve, but it's fairly intuitive. You put your little card in there, and Final Cut Pro says, do you want to import this? Yeah. Then when you got your clips, you just drag them down on the timeline and you can adjust them. It's really not super difficult to do. But you want to lay down your main storyline first, and then come back and cover it with different pieces of B-roll that you might want to do. Think about pacing, don't be afraid to cut. And then distribution, I would suggest that you output it in the highest possible quality that you can. Put together playlists. We did that like for Origo on our Oregon DOT YouTube page. We have all kinds of playlists, and all of our Origo videos are on a particular playlist. Watch out for the metadata, the meaningful titles, the description, all those other things will help people to find your videos. And then again, as I mentioned, for distribution to the news media, you can use Dropbox, and then as we've started to use the live capability. Now, stills can also be an important part of your visual engagement strategy. Articles with images get 94% more views than articles without. Facebook boasts a 37% higher engagement rate for articles and posts that have images in them. We use Flickr.com, again, Oregon DOT, as our repository for photos. And I get things all the time where someone has used one of our photos in a publication because Flickr, for the license that we provide, is just open for anybody who wants to use them. Now, infographics. This is something we have recently delved into, and we made it a goal to do one infographic every month for a year. And so we had a group that met together. We talked about the subjects we wanted to do. We found a subject matter expert. We connected them with a communications expert and our graphic artist to come up with these infographics. And this one in particular that is here about Oregon's bridges, we were totally surprised but pleased. It won an honorable mention with the PR News Daily national competition. It wasn't really all that hard to do or that complicated, but data visualization and infographics can really help to tell your data-heavy story without a bunch of tables and reports. There are all kinds of low-cost sites that will help you create infographics. PictoChart is one, PIKTOCHART.com, and also another site, infogr.am. Those are a couple places that you can go to help you make your infographics. By the way, I've got examples of infographics that we've done on the front table here, and then also here. Feel free to grab those if you want to take a look at some of the work that our folks have done. Now there's memes. A meme is basically a photograph or an illustration that's been repurposed. And you see a lot of memes on the internet these days, but we've decided to take them and use them in sort of a cute way. It's amazing. People are just taken by surprise when they realize that a government organization can actually have a sense of humor. And if you can get your administrators to go along with that, and at least let you try it, you'll be amazed at the kind of engagement that you get. We, for instance, celebrated May the 4th Be With You on May 4th with a Star Wars theme. And our Star Wars aficionados in our section, in our director's office, all submitted lines from Star Wars movies that we then turned into work zone safety memes. And so Kevin Beckstrom, our graphic artist, put these together. And this was put out on May the 4th. And just in that one day, these little memes got 52,000 impressions and 271 shares and 114 likes on our Facebook page. We had a station in Eugene, Oregon, and also one of the main stations in Portland, KGW, which is where I used to work, did on-air segments where they showed all the memes and the anchors chatted about them on the air. So you can really make good use of those. We also did Tolkien Reading Day, where we had folks who love Lord of the Rings. They put in famous lines and we turned them into memes. And then on Mother's Day, we did something called Notes from Mom about transportation safety. And so it was just a pretty visual with like your mom writes you a note, you know, and it says love mom at the end. And we got huge engagement and a lot of pickup in the media discussing what we were doing. So for publication, YouTube and Vimeo works well for your visuals, or Dropbox for the media. You can, for your stills, memes, and infographics, Flickr, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. One that's amazing in its growth, how Snapchat has increased. But also I would suggest as we come to the end of our time here that you consider transmedia. What is that? Just briefly, transmedia is telling bits of a story across several different media channels. So it's a little bit like a treasure hunt. You start on Twitter with a link. That link takes you to a website that might mention something really enigmatic. The person searches for it on Google and they come up to a Facebook post. It was started by the Lost television show back in 2004. They started using transmedia, and it's become an effective storytelling technique. Then just briefly, promotion. You promote it every single way you can. Your email lists, your website, your stakeholder groups. You keep talking about the visuals and you talk about them in all of your channels. Be sure to read the comments. Be sure to respond to comments. Have a moderation policy. We have one at the Department of Transportation because the more you engage, the more likely you are to get folks maybe saying some things that are very inappropriate. And then I won't go into depth on analytics, but there are tons of tools that YouTube and Facebook provides for you to be able to analyze how they're doing. But be aware when you put out a post of what your competition is for that day. Because you might not get a lot of engagement, but you might have a huge news story or something else on social media that's sucking up a lot of the eyeballs. We also put out a social media survey where we ask our customers, what do you think about the amount and type of social media posting that we're doing? So what's next? Again, think visual in everything that you do. Post often. Develop your brand over time with the type of things that you want to do. It might be quirky or fun, pulling heartstrings, soft hitting, hard hitting. And then you can adjust your strategy around what's working. So again, I mentioned an editorial calendar. This is our editorial calendar from May, and you can see that we've got all kinds of events that are on there where we're doing some visuals, and this is a good way to keep track. And then in our weekly comms meetings, we say, okay, what's coming up? How can we tell this story visually? So I would encourage you, this is a shared calendar that all of our staff can look at. So when you go back, your reaction at your office might be something along these lines. The angry villagers storming the castle, ready to string you up. How dare you bring all of these new ideas into our organization? These are some of the common objectives. You know, longer videos are more transparent and complete. I get that one all the time. All kinds of things. You're dumbing it down for the audience. It's too expensive. It's too hard to learn. Well, you have two options for how you can handle those. One, you can just say, resistance is futile. You will be assimilated. Or maybe you can use the mind meld technique. My mind to your mind. Get excited about it. Visual engagement is catchy. It's interesting. It's new. And it's very effective. Do some trials and ask your administrator, just let me try it and let's see how it goes. Look for people who get it and can be your advocates. Find a new program, again, that's got some money that they need to spend. Look for local news reporters or photographers that can come and help train you. And then go for a senior executive that you think you can convince this is a good idea. Once you get them on board, the rest is easy. So thank you very much for your attention.